So the reason I'm making this video is to share just daily maintenance, 50-hour maintenance, and 100-hour maintenance with everyone that has a John Deere 5075. If you're from Nebraska and you're driving a big old 100-horse tractor, this probably isn't the video for you. So for all of you hobby farmers or small farmers that really don't have a lot of experience with tractors, please stick around and I'll take you through the tractor, show you how to do that maintenance. Hey everybody, welcome to Yellow Dog Farm. So really the goal for our tractor here on the farm is that it will be the last tractor we buy. Probably famous last words, but that's really the way that we look at it. It's a 2019 5075E. It's a 3-cylinder motor. That's a really big deal in tractor terms because 3-cylinder and below you don't need a diesel exhaust system. So that really is just one less system on the tractor that's there to break down. We're super happy with this tractor. Just couldn't get along without it. So take a peek while we go through all this maintenance. The first thing is just to make sure it's nice and clean, stays tidy. I mean, it's such a big deal to your farm that you just want to take good care of it. So here we go, cleaning up. But it's cleaned up and we'll go get the shop ready for this thing. Okay, well let's start with the way that you want to have your tractor set up to do the maintenance. Of course you want to be on flat and level ground. I'm in my shop and it's the most level place I have around here. And nice and clean and ready to go, so ready to get started. I've also got the loader arm all the way up and then I have it locked out so it can't fall down on me and injure me. And of course I've got the engine hood open. So on my model, the catch is over on the other side. Just went ahead and popped it up. This is the best way to be able to get access to your tractor to all the components. Let's start with daily maintenance. So when you're getting ready to go work on your tractor, here's just the quick things that you're going to go look that are in the manual. One is to check the oil, and the dipstick is right back here. It's actually a little bit tough to see with the arm and everything in the way, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it, clean it out of the range, and we're going to do our 100-hour maintenance here in a little bit, so that's just perfect. Frustrating because any line of sight you have to the dipstick is all covered up with this loader piece. The second item is your coolant level. Pretty darn easy to see. The next thing you're going to look for is water in your fuel. So there's a glass bowl right here underneath the filter where you can check for water. I've already checked. I can't get in there with a flashlight and really show you what it looks like very easily, but it's quite apparent when you look under there. There's also a drain right under the fuel receptacle to check for water as well. So since it looks fine in the bowl, I'm not going to go any further. So you've done all that and you've got your daily maintenance. It also calls to check and put in grease in the grease fittings, but only if you've been in really muddy conditions. So we haven't had that, and we won't worry about it for the daily stuff. Okay, so we're going to start heading down the 50-hour maintenance checklist. The first thing it does is want to check on the battery. So I'm on the right-hand side here of the tractor, just below the cab, and here's the battery box. So I'm going to pull the 2 pins that hold it closed. Don't lose them. And then it has 2 studs. You just lift it out and over and pull the battery box out. So the posts look nice and clean, but the whole thing is just pretty dusty. So I'm going to grab a rag real quick and wipe this dust off, blow it off with the compressor, and then we'll move on. The next item on the list is to check all of your tires for damage. So you're just looking for obvious punctures, not on my tractor, but on my trailer. I actually found a screw sticking through the sidewall and had to go replace it. So it's really worth the time to just go around and take a quick look and make sure everything's okay. But you're just looking for that obvious stuff that might say you need to get your tire fixed. And man, these things are expensive, so it's worth taking the time to look at them. Well, on the daily maintenance, it always just says to grease these pivot pins up, or the axles on both front and rear, only if it's really muddy. But every 50 hours, you do need to lubricate them. So I've cleaned the zerk fitting off already, and I'll just go ahead and pop some lithium grease on there. Just like that. Well, I'm just going to point out where the grease fitting is, because as soon as I lean over there and try to use it, you're not going to be able to see anything anyway. So the zerk fitting for the axle is right at the very top there. So you're going to go ahead and give that a pop on each side, and you'll have all the zerk fittings covered. Okay, so the next item on the 50-hour checklist is to check your hydraulic transmission fluid. And on this tractor, they share the same reservoir and same system. You don't need to do it by a dipstick. The filling point is right here, but there's a sight glass down next to the PTO. So we're going to zoom into that so you can see it. And there's 2 ports here next to the PTO. The bottom one says add and the top one says full. The bottom one is you can see the fluid in add but not in full. So we clearly need to put some in there, which is perfect. So when I move to the 100-hour service here in just a moment, we'll go ahead and add some of that fluid after we pull out the filter. So all good to go there. Okay, the last thing on the 50-hour checklist is to check the fluid for the front 4-wheel drive housing. It's not 4-wheel drive, they call it MFWD, but come on man, it's 4-wheel drive. So it's got a plug right here that you go ahead and pull, and the fluid should be 12 millimeters below the opening of the port, and you put some in if you need some. I don't have the Teflon to put back on the threads, so I'm not going to do that today, but here's where you get after it. So that's the last thing for the 50-hour maintenance, is to work on this plug. So the last thing that I'm going to do is not on the 50-hour checklist, and it's not even on the 100-hour checklist, which is crazy, is to clean the air filter. So I'm just going to show you how to pop that open, how to clean it out and get it back in there. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you got the engine hood open and you're doing something, why not clean it out? Okay, so air cleaner, just one thing fun to know is that it's got a purge here that you can just press on and get a whole lot of dust out of it if you're in a really dusty environment. So that's what this little piece is here for. You can see I got a little, you can't hardly see it, but I got a little bit of dust falling out of there. Only anything that's trapped in this little piece. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the air cleaner open with these 3 latches. And it's got the outer piece, and ours is just a little dirty, it's not bad at all. And then the inner particulate piece. So I'm going to go blow those out with air, and get them back in there. So when you first open your maintenance manual and try to figure out how to do all the maintenance, you'll see that the manual shows you how to get it all the right access points, etc., but it doesn't show you a single part number. The dealer has a really slick filter page that they can print out for you, and it shows you every filter that you need for maintenance on your machine. So this is what they pull out, and when you say I'm going to do 100-hour maintenance, this is what they go access. So have them print this out for you and keep it with you, tape it up somewhere in your shop so you know what's going on. And then they also have another page that talks about all the fluids, and they'll just pop the serial number of your tractor in and have you look at it. So this machine is a 9-quart oil, and then for the engine oil there, yeah, 2 1/4 gallons, which is 9 quarts. And then it tells you for the transmission oil, it's 10 gallons, and then just a little bit for the rest. So these are really cool, super helpful. I was going nuts at first, and then when the guys pulled this up at the shop, I was super happy. So go to your dealer and get it when you get your materials. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 100-hour maintenance and start swapping out the engine oil. Okay, this is a 16 millimeter drain plug that's underneath here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it with the socket wrench or whether I'm going to need my impact gun. Well, this is the first time that this oil has been drained. So the oil plug was actually painted onto the oil pan. I've seen this in other videos where even the filter is painted onto the tractor for the first time around. So it took me a little bit of trouble. Sorry I didn't get it filmed, but I was busy wrestling with the plug. We've got all the oil drained now. We're just got a few drips here, so I'm going to clean up the plug, get it back in, and then get the filter off. Okay, well there's the oil filter right there. And I'm going to scoot over a little bit so you can see down into this thing. You'll notice that it's got that guard here that's just right up against it, and it's really tight. So I bought this filter wrench at the dealer that'll just slip right on there and turn with a 1/2-inch ratchet. So I might get in the way while I go do it, so I wanted to show this to you now, but it just snaps right onto a 1/2-inch ratchet. So see, that's nice. You just slip that right under there, and then to take it off, you just roll up and put it on. So I'm going to grab my ratchet and do that. Hey, here's a quick look at the filter box if you need to get the part number for the oil filter. And there's what it looks like. Got the fancy Deere on it. I'll go ahead and get some oil on this filter, and then we'll go ahead and get it on. I can't say how cool that little seat belt filter wrench is. There's no way that you would get any other kind of filter wrench on there. The little strap bands or that kind of thing, you're just not going to get it around the filter. And if you can't do that, then you got to take a guard off the engine, which takes forever. Okay, so the last thing to do is for the 100-hour maintenance is to change out the transmission hydraulic oil filter. So I'm back here under the rear axle. It's on the right-hand side of the axle, and it's just way too hard to get the camera under here and do it. So you'll just have to see it from there. It's a really tight fit. There's some, well, I guess I can just push these hoses out of the way, and we'll go ahead and get these, get this filter off. Man, this big old filter.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, we're all done. 100-hour maintenance is mainly changing the oil and then replacing the hydraulic oil filter, not the oil itself. So John Deere puts some break-in oil in the engine, and so that comes out at 100 hours, and then we just put in 1540 oil. We use the John Deere type, but as long as you use the right grade, you're good to go. So that was it. Hope this was helpful to you, and as we do further farm maintenance, we'll go ahead and throw that on YouTube as well. Please like and subscribe our videos. Thank you.